Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary from the Championship game at the New Den, where Millwall lead Birmingham City by 2-0. Murray Wallace and Tom Bradshaw with the goals for the home side, who a value for that lead as well. Birmingham had a bit of a response, having started very slowly in the game. But it would have been frustrating for Lee Bowie that both goals coming from corner kicks for Millwall, and we'll see how Birmingham respond in the second half. They have made one change at half-time, and the visitors now trying to push forward down the right-hand side. I'll run you through the two teams in just a moment. We'll see what happens in this move, though, because it's Jordan Graham now bringing the ball forward down the right for Birmingham. Has options to go for an overlap, just tries to thread that ball through, but it's picked off by Mitchell, and now a chance here for Millwall to go on the attack themselves straight away. Jed Wallace lays this ball off to Afobe, back to Wallace, breaking into the box. He gets away from Roberts, he's into the penalty area, tries to strike it. Sunjic gets in his way, it deflects out for a corner. Sunjic has bore the brunt of that one, but it is going to be a corner kick to Millwall. Just to run you through the Millwall side, it is Bartosz Białkowski in goal with a back three of Jake Cooper, Sean Hutchison and Murray Wallace. The four across the middle are Dan McNamara, Billy Mitchell, George Evans and Scott Malone, with Jed Wallace, Tom Bradshaw and Benik Afobe as the three up front. For Birmingham City, Neil Etheridge in goal with a back three of Dion Sanderson, Mark Roberts and Christian Pedersen. And then it looks like it's going to be a four in midfield now with Jordan Graham, Jordan James, Ivan Sunjic and Riley McGree, because Jeremy Bella has gone off at half-time to be replaced by Lukas Jutkovic, and he joins the attack alongside Hogan and Deeney. We'll see exactly how Birmingham South, it may well be they're still playing in a 4-4-2 just with a slight alteration. But sorry, I should say a 3-4-3 I think is what we're going to see from Birmingham now in this second half. But the Millwall corner whipped in towards the near post. That should be another corner, really. I think it was Jake Cooper that heads that into Mark Roberts, but the officials didn't spot that. It is just going to be a goal kick to be taken by Neil Etheridge. Waiting to restart plate, long clearance from him down the middle. With the head of McGree, headed forward now by Mitchell. Tennis in midfielder as both sides tries to get on the ball. It's eventually hooked up in the air by Christian Pedersen up towards Deeney, who's fighting for that one with Murray Wallace. Hits the deck, no foul though. As it is with Evans now playing one over the top. That could be a good ball for Afobe. He didn't want to go after because he was worried he might be offside. The flag does go up, but play goes on because Birmingham is still in possession. Etheridge now with a long clearance. I think Bradshaw would have been the intended target. He wasn't offside, but then I don't think he would have made the ball anyway. Birmingham now in possession on the right-hand side with Jordan James. Out towards Roberts. Space down the left here for Pedersen, but he's quickly closed down by McNamara. Runs straight into trouble in the form of Benik Afobe. Afobe then brought down inside the centre circle by Pedersen. And that will be a free kick. Pedersen, the only Birmingham player booked in the first half. The only player booked in the first half. Being taken short. Wallace now, Jed Wallace bringing it forward, finds Dan McNamara. He's crossed towards the edge of the area though, is cleared away. Chance now for Birmingham to go forward. Right hand side. So in the end they just slow things down here, but I get the feeling that Birmingham want to try and commit more players forward, but they're just a little bit mindful of the fact that they could be caught on the counter. And of course at 2-0 down, they're already up against it, but if they were to concede a third early in this second half, it really would make it very, very difficult indeed for Birmingham to try and get anything out of this game at all. Visitors now putting a bit of a press on here down the right as McNamara tries to find a Afobe. Ball goes out for a throw, though I think it's going to be a Millwall throw. Last off Pedersen. It's difficult to know exactly how Birmingham have set up in attack, because we've not really seen Birmingham in possession inside the Millwall half so far. In these first 4 minutes of the second half, Sunjic there just gets in ahead of McNamara, trying to win the ball back for Birmingham. It's then hooked up in the air towards the Birmingham City penalty area. Roberts doing his best to try and let that go out for a goal kick. Has he managed it? The referee has given a free kick in favour of Millwall. So Roberts is very frustrated with that one. He was basically trying to shield the ball out for a goal kick, but Benik Afobe wouldn't take no for an answer. We'll just see from this reverse angle replay. Oh, it's absolutely the right decision. The ball never went out of play. Roberts just wanted that ball to bounce out for a goal kick. Didn't quite have the legs on it to do that. And Afobe just nipped in behind him, and Roberts pretty much clattered into Benik Afobe. So it's a free kick to Millwall, less than a yard away from the edge of the area, over on the right-hand side, almost on the goal line. In fact, the shortest of short corners, you could say. And it's a booking for Mark Roberts as well. He's the second Birmingham centre-back in the book after Pedersen got his yellow in the first half. Standing over it now is Jed Wallace. There's 3-4 Millwall players inside the penalty area, 5 now. 3 more waiting at the edge of the box as Wallace lifts this one towards the back post, headed towards goal, but it's always a high-risk strategy, really trying to aim for that jump of Jake Cooper. Too many Birmingham players around him. Might head that towards goal. Out for a goal kick to the Blues. The goal in the Championship in the second half. It's Blackpool 0, Luton Town 2. Bradley had given Luton the lead in the first half, just waiting for confirmation of the second goal scorer. Confirm that in just a moment. Just a couple of goals in the Premier League so far. Newcastle leading against Burnley after a Callum Wilson strike on 40 minutes. Is Eddie Howe finally going to get his first win as Newcastle? And Newcastle finally going to get their first win of the season. They really have had a very tough start to the season. Armando Broja has put Southampton 1-0 up against Brighton. It's a score from the first half, and it's goalless between Wolves and Liverpool. Looking across the Championship, there are no games in the there's only one game left in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. In fact, I'll take that back. There are 2 games from the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Championship that are still goalless. It's Blackburn against Preston and Forest against Peterborough. Meanwhile, Birmingham City are asking for a penalty here as the long ball was hooked into the penalty area, and it's Jutkiewicz that goes down. Referee says no, and you can see Jutkiewicz is fuming with this. He takes it down on the chest, heading away from goal, and as he's trying to get on the end of that, well, I'm not sure why the referee doesn't give a penalty there. I mean, Hutchison doesn't get any of the ball. The Millwall captain just clatters into Jutkiewicz and brings him down. Unless the referee's decided that the big man's gone down a little bit too easily. I don't know, I just think that if he's not got the ball, then there could always be an argument for a penalty. There's no video replays in the Championship, which I know make a lot of Championship fans very, very happy indeed. But on that occasion, I just wonder whether or not a video replay might have suggested that the referee should have just at least seen that on a monitor. As it is, the matter has been and gone. And the ball is now back in play here with Roberts hooking a long ball up in the air. But it goes straight through to Murray Wallace, who then switches play, trying to get Dan McNamara into the game. That's asking a little bit too much of McNamara. Just too much pace on that pass, and it's out for a throw down the left-hand side. Hull City have just equalised away at Reading. Andy Carroll that had given Reading the lead just before half-time. Equaliser now for Hull City. Blackburn have just taken the lead against Preston. It's Brereton Diaz with the goal for Blackburn. But here come Millwall now with the ball down the right-hand side. And it's Wallace's ball into Bradshaw. Bradshaw with the strike, and that's a good save from Etheridge. And now a ball quickly cleared by Pedersen down the left-hand side. Jutkiewicz pushed over there by Hutchison, and this time the referee has to give a foul. There's no way you can say that was a fair fight for the ball. But this is a nice move here. Bradshaw flicked the ball to Jed Wallace. Wallace then over the top of Roberts, curls that one in towards Bradshaw. He hits it towards goal, but 2 strong hands there from Etheridge. Pushes that ball away, and it was eventually cleared. Just the confirmation. It is now Reading 1, Hull City 1. Preston 0. Cardiff are now down to 10 men. Morrison's just been sent off for Cardiff, but here come Birmingham at the other end now, quickly on the attack down the right-hand side. They want a corner. They're not going to get a corner here, and Hogan and Jutkiewicz are furious about this. Birmingham haven't got the rub of the green in this second half as far as they're concerned. As we'll see here, Graham plays the ball over the top for Jutkiewicz. He gets behind. Well, I can see why the officials haven't given it, because the ball does seem to graze off Hogan. I think that if seeing that replay again, there is an argument to say that it could have been a corner, but it's certainly not as clear-cut as perhaps the 2 Birmingham players were suggesting there. It's now from Białkowski, just a little bit askew there. Afobe couldn't keep that in play. Out now on the right-hand side, Jordan Graham with the ball, throws it into Sunic to Graham. It's pushed over, and that is a free kick. A bit clumsy there from Jed Wallace. We'll take it back towards Mark Roberts. Here is Christian Pedersen now for Birmingham down the left. Stood up there by Bradshaw. Still Go back towards Roberts. Goes through the middle, a bit more space in now for Troy Deeney. That's a good ball as well into Hogan. Hogan tries to find Jutkiewicz. He gets blocked, but a second chance here for Hogan. He aims at the near post. Jutkiewicz then can't quite get through, and it looks like it's going to be a corner. Białkowski's unhappy with this. I think Jutkiewicz is also unhappy with his teammate there, because I think once that first ball from Hogan was charged down and he got a second chance, I think Jutkiewicz was hoping for a ball along the ground, but Hogan just floats it into that near post. And it's out for a corner, but it is going to be a corner kick. The referee does give Birmingham a corner this time. Outswinger hung up in the air here by Graham. It drops to Deeney inside the 6-yard box. He takes 2 touches and is charged down. McGree's effort is also charged down. And then Afobe tries to play the ball out here for Millwall before clearing it long down the middle. One for Scott Malone to chase, but Etheridge, he gets all the way to the edge of the centre circle there to control that one for Birmingham. And the Blues playing in there to change yellow strip today are back in possession here with Sunjic. He leaves the ball now for Jordan James. James through to Deeney, nice little back heel. Oh, lovely combination play. Deeney with the strike. That's a lovely goal from Birmingham City. They're on the board here on 56 minutes, and it's a lovely finish from Troy Deeney. A nice move there involving Deeney and Hogan, and Birmingham City scoring inside the first 11-12 minutes here of the second half. It's game on here at the New Den, and it starts off here in midfield with Jordan James, spins away from Malone, threads the ball into Deeney. Lovely back heel there from Deeney to find Hogan. Hogan then threads that ball back through to Troy Deeney, and it really is a great finish from the Birmingham captain. Hits it first time right into the corner, no chance for Białkowski. It's right in front of those travelling Birmingham fans who are there in the second half behind the goal that Birmingham are attacking, and that is a really good finish there from Deeney. And well, now all the pressure on Millwall. Had that 2-1 lead. Birmingham will feel as though that's a real statement at the start of the second half. And, potentially a chance now to get back into the game. Deeney would have been really pleased because he had so little of the ball in the first half. But finally got a chance in the second. He really took it with aplomb as well, as long throw now from Graham. Gets that ball through towards the right-hand side, and here comes chance now for Millwall, though, as Birmingham are caught in possession, and it's a chance now down the right for McNamara. His ball into the box is headed away initially by Sanderson. Now McGree with the clearance up towards the halfway line. It's now played over towards the right-hand side. Long ball now played towards the edge of the area, and eventually it's claimed here by Etheridge. But this is important now for Birmingham, just to try and keep a bit more of the ball, frustrate Millwall, who are going to try and respond in now, having conceded in this second half. Response though from Lee Bowyer's side, had a bit more intent right from the beginning of the second half. To carry that on now as this long ball is played, and it's hooked up in the air. Headed on now by Mark Roberts. Shots, 9 shots from Birmingham, 10 shots from the home side Millwall. In terms of efforts on target, it's actually Millwall that are leading 4-2 in terms of that particular stat. It's a strike there from Deeney to make it 2-1. It's second shot on target from Birmingham in this game. Have a single one in the first half as the ball is now played over the top in towards Afobe, headed away by Sanderson. Deeney now still inside his own half, over to Pedersen. Get away from McNamara. Deeney does well just to flick that ball into space. And looks like it was McGree trying to back heel that back to Deeney, but the ball deflected out for a throw. Chance here now for just to try and frustrate the home side even more. Still got just over half an hour to play in this game. The result is still possible after that goal from Deeney. Headed on now towards Hogan, but that's played away from him. And then does really well there, does George Evans. It looked for on 2 occasions like he might lose the ball. Still just about kept it alive, rolls it back to Murray Wallace. And here is Scott Malone now down the left-hand side, over the halfway line. Got options here ahead of him. He just chooses to play it square to Afobe. Now it's a switch ball over from left to right to find Dan McNamara. Bit of space in front of him as well. Just plays it inside though towards Sean Hutchison. The captain inside now to Jed Wallace. Hutchinson's ball towards the edge of the area. That's a nice ball from Bradshaw to play in McNamara. McNamara's crossed just a bit too short for Afobe. Hooked away by Sanderson, but Millwall keep the ball alive down the right-hand side. Wallace's ball in, and then a turn and shot there from Bradshaw. And that's well dealt with by Roberts there. He puts the ball out for a corner. Good response that from Millwall though. Just looked as though Birmingham was starting to get into a bit of a rhythm, a bit of a flow in attack. Quick response there, ball towards the edge of the area, and eventually the home side win themselves a corner kick. So arriving inside the penalty area now. Three big men from defence, Wallace, Hutchison and Cooper all waiting at the edge of the area for the time being. See how this corner kick's going to be taken. It's left-footed Scott Malone standing over this, so this is going to be an in-swinger from Malone towards the near post. Oh, Etheridge with a punch. Decent punch in the end towards the edge of the area. Second effort there from Wallace's charge down to Afobe, and the ball's in the back of the net. It's 3-1. It's not 3-1. There's an offside flag. Goal will not stand. And, the flag goes up for the linesman. Just on that near side as we look, on that right-hand side as Millwall look. Just getting a few choice comments there, no doubt, from the Millwall fans disagreeing with that decision. But we'll see from this replay as the ball is hooked back in. Offside there, is it? I think it might be Tom Bradshaw. I think he was offside after that ball deflected and went into the path of Afobe. The flag went up very quickly as well. It wasn't like it was a delayed decision, so the linesman certainly felt as though there was an offside, but in the meantime the ball gets up at the other end. Deeney with the strike, he tries to flick a ball up and volley it towards goal. There's a handball there, I think, against Lucas Jutkovic. In fact, no, it looks like it's a foul, and Troy Deeney's just as confused as Lucas Jutkovic there. Deeney, the captain, just having a quick word with our referee, Andy Woolmer. He's made a couple of decisions this afternoon that have frustrated the visitors. But this is a lovely goal. We can show this goal to us again. Absolutely, it's the goal that put Birmingham on the board in this game. Really blustering finish there as well from Deeney, smashing that one into the top corner. What can you get with Troy Deeney? His effort is certainly plenty of talking on the pitch as well, whether it's to try and curry favour with the referee, trying to motivate his own teammates, or indeed trying to get in the face of the opposition, and indeed the fans as well. He's one of these players that doesn't shy away from those sorts of confrontations. Certainly looking more alive in this second half, but it is Millwall now in possession just at the edge of the Birmingham City penalty area. The ball coming in now towards Afobe, headed away by the initial ball headed away by Sanderson. A second ball coming in now as Graham tries to clear it. He just gets caught inside the box by Billy Mitchell. Mitchell then chases after the ball, gets all the way to the byline, and it's just going to be a goal kick. That's despite the fact that look at this, Billy Mitchell's having to be restrained by his own teammate there. He wanted to go after the Birmingham player that had just clashed with him. But it looks like Mark Roberts there is also acting as peacemaker, just trying to calm down the number 24. We'll see from this replay why Mitchell was as upset as he was. The ball's hooked into the edge of the area, played away. Mitchell initially goes after it, and after his shot was stopped by Sanderson, he just slipped as he tried to go for the ball. And then I think he was a little bit annoyed with young Jordan James there. Just seemed to push him over, maybe a little bit unnecessarily, but he's always just trying to get that little bit of an advantage to make sure the ball goes out or stays in, depending on what they're trying to achieve. Occasion, though, I think it wasn't too much in that. I think it was just a case of Mitchell taking an exception to it. It's Etheridge now waiting with this goal kick, long clearance from the Birmingham keeper, headed up in the air by Sean Hutchison. Drops on this left-hand side. Pedersen plays it forward. Taken down now by McNamara. All touch though from McNamara, but Birmingham weren't able to capitalise. It's still Millwall in possession. That's a lovely ball as well from Bradshaw to find Jed Wallace down the right-hand side. And Wallace does really well to skip away from Sunic and from Pedersen. He puts a cross in, which is a good cross. Etheridge doesn't catch it first time. He almost makes a real mess of that one, Neil Etheridge. Bumps into Scott Malone, but he was holding on to the ball by then. So in the end, danger averted there by the Blues keeper. And it's Jordan Graham now bringing the ball out down the right-hand side. He runs straight into the challenge there of George Evans. Now for a Birmingham throw. This ball in from Wallace seemed so routine for Etheridge. Maybe he just lost his concentration for a second, and very nearly could have been embarrassing for him if Malone had got there just before him. But now a long ball played to the edge of the Millwall penalty area. It doesn't quite stick with Jutkovic. And then a foul on the halfway line as Sunjic crashes into Jed Wallace. Just now picks himself up. I don't think there's going to be a booking. It's more of a accidental collision rather than an intentional foul there from Ivan Sunjic. Billy Mitchell with the free kick down the right-hand side towards McNamara. McNamara there under pressure from McGree, who's back in towards Evans. Evans down the right-hand side. McNamara having to dive in just to try and keep that ball in play. McGree then hooks it away from him, but Millwall get the ball back very quickly. Here is McNamara inside now to Evans. He goes over towards the left here for Scott Malone. Still a long way from Birmingham's goal. Malone playing it forward now. Potentially could have been a foul there. Referee not interested. Ball over the top now for Hogan to chase, but Białkowski is there first and comfortably clears that ball away from the edge of his own box. Head up towards the right-hand side, and that's a lovely takedown there as well by McNamara. Finds Afobe. Afobe then threads the ball to an invisible player. He then looks up and apologises to Scott Malone, who's about 30 yards away from where Afobe had passed the ball. He just did it on instinct, Benik Afobe. He assumed that Malone would be there on the overlap, but he wasn't. And it's a shame, actually, because I think that Afobe probably could have taken that on and tried to shoot for goal himself. But in the meantime, the ball goes out of play down the left. It's a throw to Birmingham City, taken by Riley McGree. It's back to Troy Deeney, outside of the boot pass, looking for Jutkovic, who does head it on, but the ball is just a bit short for Hogan. Cleared away by Sean Hutchison. Out for a throw to Birmingham down there, left-hand side. So we can see Gary Rowett now on his feet. Has to be an animated manager. He's good value in press conferences as well. Unless, of course, he's had a bad. Of course, all managers, when they have a bad day, can sometimes it's a bit of a meltdown. So Rowett, when he can, he's like to bring a bit of lightheartedness to the situation, and he's also very passionate. I think that he's been really very close to trying to get something out of this Millwall team, just a little bit off the playoff pace as it stands. But not by much, as I said. It's a very, very flat top half of the Championship table, barring the top two, Fulham and Bournemouth. They've just started to pull away a little bit now, from third right down to 14th, even 15th, 16th. There's very little in it, just 10 or 11 points. So a good run over Christmas can certainly change a few things in the table, as indeed a bad run could for certain teams. But in the meantime, Millwall are on the attack, and it's Wallace at the edge of the area, plays it square to Afobe. Afobe hits it first time. It's a good save by Etheridge. Strike from Benik Afobe at the edge of the area. Ball deflected out by the goalkeeper. I think it's gone out for a throw rather than a corner. But it was a decent strike, this from Afobe. The only problem, I think, is that he's striking it pretty much straight at Etheridge. If he could have just got that ball to curl a little bit more nearer the post, I think it might have been a bit tougher for Neil Etheridge. He did actually deflect out for a corner. It's the 8th corner kick that Millwall have had. Birmingham have had 4. And it's going to be an in-swinger from Scott Malone. Whipped in. Again, it's just a bit too short. I think he's intending to do that. He's trying to pick out a teammate at that near post, but just a little bit short from Malone. And an attempt there from Mitchell to try and keep the move alive by heading it back to Malone. But he ends up missing his teammate by a good few yards, so it's out for a goal kick to be taken by Neil Etheridge. Whilst he's preparing for that goal kick, I'll just run you through the scores in the Championship. In the early game, Coventry City 1, West Bromwich Albion 2. The game's currently being played. Barnsley 1, Huddersfield 1, Blackburn 1, Preston 0, Blackpool 0, Luton 2, Bristol City 1, Derby County 0, Cardiff, 10-man Cardiff 1, Sheffield United 1, they've just equalised. It's Middlesbrough 1, Swansea City 0, Millwall leading against Birmingham 2-1 in our game, Nottingham Forest 0-0 with Peterborough, and Reading 1-1 with Hull City. And in the Championship tomorrow, it's QPR against Stoke City in a 2:30 kickoff. The Premier League, no change from the first half scores. Newcastle still lead against Burnley by 1-0. Southampton still lead against Brighton by 1-0, and it's still goalless between Wolves and Liverpool. The collector's item, really, a 0-0 draw for Liverpool. But in the meantime, here back at the New Den, Ivan Sunjic clashes with Jed Wallace. And a really delayed reaction there from the referee to give Birmingham that free kick. I perhaps Wallace feels as though the pressure from Sunjic might have just worked on the referee there. It is a good opportunity now to try and get this ball forward. Woolmer just trying to calm down a couple of players as well. Both sets of players have had reasons to be frustrated with the official at times this afternoon, although I think overall Mr. Woolmer has refereed the game pretty well. Can't see any sort of glaring errors or controversial moments, just a few decisions here and there. I think both teams felt could have gone their way but didn't. Standing over this free kick is Mark Roberts. He's waiting a long time to take it because Millwall have set up very high with their offside lines. It's not going to be easy to pump this ball into the box. He does aim for Troy Deeney, who just about gets ahead to it. The loose ball then drops back to Troy Deeney at the edge of the area. He tries an effort which is charged down, and in the end the ball is now back with goalkeeper Białkowski. Jukovic was up there as well. Jukovic then headed that initial ball on. But in the meantime, we have no nil-nils in the Championship anymore. Nottingham Forest have just taken the lead against Peterborough on 73 minutes. Waiting for a confirmation of the goal scorer on that one, but Nottingham Forest getting the goal, which will see them just start to solidify their position in mid-table. Jump to 12th place there if things stay as they are. If Millwall can hold on to this result, they'll be in 8th. By the end of the evening, just a couple of points away from Coventry, who are currently in 6th place, just inside the playoffs. But there's a bit of a foul there on Jukovic. He stayed down on the ground, but we're playing on here as here come Birmingham down the left. Oh, that's a poor ball though from Jordan James. It's easily cleared away back towards the halfway line. Jukovic has got up now. Looks like he's going to be okay. And Mark Roberts plays this one back towards Neil Etheridge. Options, long clearance from the Birmingham goalkeeper up towards the halfway line, headed forward, taken down now by McNamara. But that's a very poor ball from McNamara. He rushed it. They had no need to play it as quickly as he did. Just an invitation to give possession back to Birmingham City. A frustrated look there from Dan McNamara. Roberts now waiting to take this throw. From Roberts, headed on by Deeney. Jukovic then gets a foot to it as well. The ball's hooked back into the Birmingham half, and then a bit of a miscued volley there from Dion Sanderson, and goes straight out for a throw to Millwall down the right-hand side. Sanderson's had a busy afternoon. So just how much play that Millwall have had, less in the second half, but there's still been a fair amount of work for Sanderson and indeed Pedersen and Roberts. Out of play for a throw to Millwall down the right-hand side. McNamara with the throw. It's to Wallace, back to McNamara at the edge of the area, just skips away from Pedersen, breaks into the box, and he pulls this one back. It's going to be a strike. Oh, what a finish that is. It's George Evans that makes it 3-1 to Millwall on 73 minutes. Lovely left-footed strike, curling into the top corner, and the Lions are now 3-1 up against Birmingham. And that potentially could be a game, set and match. Birmingham, who've shown some signs of improvement in the second half, but now their defence opens up, and it really is a great strike from George Evans. It's a lovely move here between McNamara and Jed Wallace. Pedersen gets caught out by McNamara, I think, but then Evans on the run just waits for that ball to drop onto his left foot and just guides it, just uses the pace of that pass to get a bit of curl on it and away from the goalkeeper. Great finish there from George Evans. No chance there for Etheridge, although I've got to say he's almost got hands to that, but it's such a powerful strike. Got to say it's powerful and it's measured here. Very precise from Evans. And Etheridge, yes, he does actually get fingertips to that, but I'm not sure I'm going to criticise the goalkeeper too much for that. It really was a very good strike there from George Evans. His side now 3-1 up with less than 20 minutes to go, and big smile there on the face of George Evans. That showed there should be. It really was a very good goal. Just sarcastically said average to one of his teammates there as well, when they were probably complimenting him for the strike. I said, oh no, it's just a bit average, nothing too special, but that really was a lovely strike there from George Evans. And Sheffield United have turned things around at Cardiff City. They were 1 down at half-time, but then Morrison saw a straight red card for Cardiff at the start of the second half, And since then, Morgan Gibbs-White and now Billy Sharp have made it 2-1 to Sheffield United. I'm getting reports there might even be a third. There is a third goal for Sheffield United. What a turnaround that's been at the Cardiff City Stadium. So Sheffield United now 3-1 up away from home. The third goal scorer there in just a moment. But Birmingham City, they've got to get straight to work here to try and recover this scoreline as Deeney in the role of playmaker there floats the ball into the box. Oh, it was Hogan and Jutkovic. Nice bit of combination play there between them. Tried to lay it off for Sunic, bit of miscommunication, and the ball is lost. But once again, Deeney picks it up in midfield. He shapes to shoot. He goes for goal. It's just a little bit too high there from the Birmingham captain, lifting it over the bar. Hands up in acknowledgement there from Deeney that he probably could have looked to try and pass it to a teammate as well. And I like the fact that we saw this in the first half from Afobe, seeing it from Deeney now. The front man dropping off a little bit deeper. It may well be that Deeney's been given the licence to drop a bit deeper now with Jutkovic on the field as well. So Jutkovic and Deeney just having a quick word. You can see some of the Birmingham fans there. So I won't be too pleased with how this game has panned out. They would have certainly been hopeful after the goal from Deeney at the start of the second half. So since then, goal from Evans has now put Millwall in a very, very strong position indeed. That third goal for Sheffield United, by the way, was scored by David McGoldrick. They now lead 3-1 away at Cardiff City. Goal for Nottingham Forest I mentioned. It was scored by Garner. Garner giving Nottingham Forest the lead against Peterborough. Derby, bottom of the league, they are a goal down this afternoon away at Bristol City. They have had 21 points taken off them. So Barnsley currently 1-1 with Huddersfield there, second last Peterborough, third last place Cardiff City just above that. Like a tough time for Cardiff City right now. It's the trouble, isn't it? The Championship is such a exciting league, such an open league, but it's also a very expensive league as well. To be competitive, you really have to have a high class of player, which of course will demand a high wage bill. But here come Millwall again with a chance to wrap things up. It's Wallace's strike, saved by Etheridge. The rebound from Malone, also saved by Etheridge, and it's just a corner when really Millwall could be 4-1 up now. It was Sunic caught in possession. Good work there from Jed Wallace on the run to take it off Sunic. His strike stopped by Etheridge, and then the effort from Malone also tipped over the bar by Etheridge. Ideally, Malone might have just caught that before it bounced. Not bounce it into the turf himself. That just gave Etheridge a little bit more time to adjust, to make the save, which has now led to this Millwall corner. It's going to be an out-swinging corner from Scott Malone from the left-hand side. Just waiting for teammates to get into position. It's the outswinger from Malone, up in the air, headed towards goal by Murray Wallace, scorer of the first goal this afternoon. But it's a tame header. He wasn't heading for goal, I think he was trying to pick out a teammate. In any case, it's easily claimed by Neil Etheridge. Just waiting for his teammates to fan out a little bit, but he rolls it short anyway. Deeney, he is pretty much playing as a midfielder now. Just holds the ball up. Brings it out towards Pedersen. Pedersen back towards the halfway line. They're pressing here in midfield as the visitors. They certainly don't want to make it easy here for Birmingham to try and mount a late recovery. As here comes ball now down the left-hand side. The ball is almost getting through towards Tom Bradshaw. Good challenge there from Dion Sanderson. Now it's with Riley McGree in midfield. Finds Deeney. Deeney inside now towards Hogan. Hogan finds Graham. Jordan Graham just about keeps that in play. A couple of Millwall fans to the side there repeating it should be a throw, but the ball is now whipped in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and a couple of defensive headers there. In the end, it was the head of McNamara that was the telling one, putting it out for a corner. Birmingham City, meanwhile, are going to make a change. Scott Hogan is going to be going off for these last few minutes, and it's going to be Chukwuemeka to come on in his place. Chukwuemeka already on the field. See what he can do now. The big man running straight into the box for this corner kick. Good chance this for Birmingham to get within one again. Ball is whipped in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's a header. Oh, it's just wide. Wasn't too far away at all from Christian Pedersen. Looks like it might have just grazed the top of the bar on the way out. Looked like it might have done. No, it's just over the top of the bar, but it was very, very close indeed. Good powerful header there from Pedersen. Put himself into a decent position. It's just over the bar. I don't think Białkowski would have got there in time if it had been on target. But in the end, it's all academic. The ball was wide. And now, in the meantime, with that last corner kick, a couple of players collided there, and it looks like it's Mark Roberts, the Birmingham centre-back, that just needed a moment to pick himself up. No need for the physios in the end. And it was Tom Bradshaw that's just the one down for Millwall, but he's back up on his feet as well. A game of many efforts. 18 shots from Millwall in the game, 13 from Birmingham. Millwall leading 9-2 when it comes to efforts on target. Overall, I think Gary will be pretty pleased. I think he'd say his side of about 18 efforts, half of them have been on target, and a third of those have gone into the back of the net. So overall, just by sheer weight of numbers, Millwall have given themselves plenty of chances to actually score this afternoon, and it has paid off. On now to Birmingham down the right-hand side. They still haven't given up the ghost in this one. If they could just get a goal back in the next few minutes to make it 3-2, all of a sudden things could get interesting. It's with Jordan Graham. Plays it back towards Sanderson. Now Deeney inside, trying to win that ball back off Mitchell. Good play though, and now it's with McNamara down the right-hand side for Millwall. Plays the ball over the top. It's a good play though from Pedersen. Slides in and wins that just as it looked as though Bradshaw might be getting away from him. And now it's with, looks like it was Jordan James. I thought he might have won his side a throw there, but judged to have had the last touch. Sean Hutchinson now waiting to take this throw. There's Millwall. Looks like there's a bit of activity on their bench. Can't quite make out in these off-tube pictures that we're getting who it is that's getting ready to come on. It is going to be the first change that Gary Rowett has made. Just shows you how happy he's been with his side this afternoon. We're getting into the 82nd minute, and it is going to be Millwall's first change. 2 now, with Jupkovic coming on at half-time, and Cuksaneke just coming on a few moments ago. There's going to be a change here for Millwall. It's going to be Jed Wallace to go off, and he's going to be replaced by Mikael Kieftenbeld. This is just an attempt to try and shore up that central midfield now from Gary Rowett. Mikael Kieftenbeld comes on. Good round of applause as well for Jed Wallace, and he deserves it. He's had a good game this afternoon, I think. Beld now just to try and shore up the last few minutes of this game, make sure there's no surprises. So if Birmingham were to get a second goal now in the next few minutes, then it would certainly set up a grandstand finish. So as it stands, it's a free kick to Millwall on the halfway line, taken here by Sean Hutchison. With a long ball towards the edge of the area, headed up in the air by Pedersen. Defobe just lets it go out. Could have actually tried to keep that in play and hook it into the box, but it was a bouncing ball. Why take the chance? He just makes sure it goes out for a throw, and it's a throw to Millwall just at the edge of the Birmingham City penalty area. Defobe now under pressure, trying to turn away from James. McNamara then gets in the way to try and keep that ball alive for Millwall, but it actually deflects off his right toe end and goes out for a goal kick, which Etheridge is waiting to take now. Etheridge now, I'm getting reports that there may well be a goal for Burnley away at Newcastle. If that was to be the case, it would be yet another week for Newcastle without a Premier League win this season. No confirmation of that as yet, but it just seems to be an indication there could be a opportunity there for Burnley. Looks like the opportunity has been and gone. So potentially Newcastle just a few minutes away from their first win of the season. Still goalless between Wolves and Liverpool, and it's still Southampton 1, Brighton 0. So a very low scoring affair in the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League today. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest have now doubled their lead against Peterborough. It's Yates with the second goal for Forest after that goal from Ghana in the around 7 or 8 minutes ago. At the New Den, it's Millwall in possession down the right-hand side. Long ball played towards Phobe. One is headed out by Roberts. So, opportunity this now for Millwall just to try and hold on to the ball. try and to do anything too elaborate, just to bear in mind that, of course, they don't want to be killing too much time. There's still plenty. There's going to be, I would imagine, at least 2 or 3 minutes of injury time. Not had too many stoppages in this second half, actually. But that's good play, though, from Afobe, because he gets all the way to the byline and he's blocked. His route to goal is blocked. He deflects that out for a corner, though. Good chance now to try and get the ball into the box. Afobe, they are applauding those Millwall fans that are applauding him as he gets into position now inside the penalty area. An in-swinging corner here from Scott Malone. Millwall getting ready to make their second change of the afternoon. Looks like it's going to be Alex Pearce. He's going to be coming on for Gary Rowett's side any time now. We're first of all going to see this corner, though, whipped in by Malone towards the edge of the 6-yard box. He's been trying that corner kick all afternoon. It's not really been too successful for him. And barring, of course, the 2 goals that Millwall have scored from corners, but they were balls whipped in right into the middle of the 6-yard box. All these short balls to the edge of the 6-yard box to the near post are being dealt with quite easily. Scott Malone is off for the last few minutes to be replaced by Alex Pearce. Pearce is on just to marshal the end of this game here on that left-hand side for Millwall. Birmingham in possession now. We're 86 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Millwall 3, Birmingham City 1. Long ball now played over the top, looking for Afobe. One is quickly picked up here now by Pedersen, who runs straight into George Evans, out for a Birmingham throw now down the left-hand side. To Mark Roberts, to Pedersen, side towards McGree, just play over towards the right-hand side. Graham finding Sunic, gets to the edge of the area. Sunic playing it back towards Sanderson. Now it's with Chukwuemeka, tries to touch that ball onto Deeney, just a little bit too short. Ball now played up towards the halfway line for Benik Afobe. He's off down the left-hand side, gets to the edge of the area. Just been stopped. He rolls it back towards the halfway line as Millwall now just perhaps trying to shut up shop a little bit. Certainly no harm in trying to push forward, but if you're going to take risks and have players caught in possession, probably better just to go back. Although saying that, Białkowski just clears the long ball straight towards Mark Roberts. That's pretty much a giveaway of possession there by the home side. Pedersen now inside towards McGree. McGree to James. 2 youngsters there in the central midfield there for Birmingham. Ball now down the right-hand side for, looks like Neke's one his side a throw there. It's a throw to Birmingham, never with the edge of the area. Just to try and get this ball in. Flex out for another throw. Exactly where Birmingham want to be towards the end of the game. It's just a question of whether they can actually find that last ball into the box to actually try and test Białkowski in these final minutes. Meantime, though, Millwall are going to make their third and final change. It looks like it is going to be Mason Bennett to come on for Tom Bradshaw. Good round of applause for Tom Bradshaw, as there should be. A good performance from him today, and Mason Bennett now on for what is, well, less than 90 seconds of regulation play and a little bit of injury time as well. As I said, I wouldn't expect it to be too much. I think 4, I'd be surprised if it was 4 actually, because we haven't had that many stoppages. But now it is Birmingham on the attack. A ball at the edge of the area. It's cleared up in the air. It drops to Roberts. Hooks it back towards goal. It deflects into the path of McGree. McGree into Deeney. Deeney then plays the ball in, looking for Jutkiewicz, headed up in the air. Jutkiewicz might get there before Białkowski. It drops to Aneke, who misses from 12 yards. Great opportunity for Birmingham to turn this into a grandstand finish, but Chukwuemeka misses the great opportunity there. This ball drops inside the box. Białkowski just gets there before Jutkiewicz, but in making that save, all he can do is deflect the ball into the path of Chukwuemeka, who slices that strike towards goal quite badly in the end. He misses by a few yards, just sort of punches his own side there, Aneke, in frustration, knowing that was a great chance to come off the bench and give his side a fighting chance for a point in the dying minutes. It's Białkowski now with the goal kick for Millwall. Straight away heading on though towards Deeney. He plays it forward for Jutkiewicz. It's cleared away from him. Now dropping on the right-hand side. So now for Jordan Graham, gets away from his man, looks to try and put a cross in. It's easily hooked away though by Jake Cooper back towards the halfway line. A collision. The ball played up in the air again. We're into injury time. There are going to be 4 minutes. Obviously, perhaps the goal celebrations plus substitutions combined means that we are still going to have a few minutes here. Still a little window of opportunity for Birmingham, although it really is last chance saloon now. It's going to be made that much more difficult because it's actually a throw to Millwall now down the left-hand side. To take it is Murray Wallace. Surprised he's not exactly in a rush to do it here. So to try and see out these last few minutes. So injury time pretty much across all the games in the Championship, apart from at Oakwell, where it's Barnsley 1, Huddersfield 1, but that game is a good 3 or 4 minutes behind everybody else. They're only in the 88th minute there in that one. Every other game in the Championship is into injury time, as indeed are the 3 Premier League games. No changes in those Premier League scores either, so Newcastle looks like they're just seconds away now from their first win of the season. Early December as well, so it's well, it's better late than never, I suppose, from Eddie Howe's point of view. But the camera now focusing on Lee Bowyer. He'll be frustrated after his side seemed to break a run of 3 games without a win. With that win against Blackpool, follow it up with what looks like is going to be a defeat at Millwall this afternoon. The home side on the attack now, down the right-hand side with Benik Afobe. Going to get away from Roberts. Afobe keeps the ball alive. That's great play from Afobe. He shoots at the near post and is saved by Etheridge out for a corner. Could have looked to try and pass that one to Benik Afobe, but I'm not going to have a go at him for that because, as I say, with the situation in the game, he was well within his rights to have an effort on goal because he'd worked so hard to actually win the ball back for his team. I'd like to think that if it was 0-0 after 5 minutes in that exact same situation, he would look to try and pass it because there really were opportunities to try and get players in. But it's a corner kick here to Millwall. We've got less than 2 minutes of injury time still to play. Taken short between Afobe and substitute Mason Bennett. The ball then goes out for a throw to Birmingham. It's taken now by Christian Pedersen. Throw from Pedersen, headed on by Jutkiewicz. Eke chasing that one, but he's stopped by Hutchison. It's with Afobe on the right-hand side. Afobe with a bit of pressure, runs straight into 2 players before it comes back to McNamara. McNamara trying to spin away from trouble, goes back to Afobe. He then can't quite keep the ball in play. It's going to be out for a throw to Birmingham City. Smile on the face of Afobe now. It's him and Mitchell just did a quick high five. Got less than, well, it's pretty much a minute to go now of injury time in this game. Millwall still lead by 3-1. Liverpool have scored in the 95th minute away at Wolves, with Divock Origi coming off the bench to get a goal for Liverpool. That's a big goal to keep Liverpool in touch with Chelsea, who of course lost earlier today away at West Ham. So Liverpool will actually go top with that win. But here at the New Den, there's still a chance for Birmingham as the ball drops into the box. There's going to be a strike from Aneke, but it's saved by Białkowski. Might be the last chance that Birmingham gets in this game. We've got seconds now before the end of the match. See there as this strike comes in from Aneke, who's never caused any problems for Białkowski there, really. Towards the halfway line. Referee looks at his watch, thinks about it, and he decides to end the game there and then as Millwall triumph over Birmingham by 3-1. It's been a very good performance from Gary Rowett's side, who led on 10 minutes through Murray Wallace. They doubled their lead through Tom Bradshaw just before half-time. Troy Deeney got Birmingham back into the game on 56 minutes, but then George Evans with a lovely left-footed strike puts Millwall 3-1 up, and that's the way the game has stayed. And that's it for this independent off-tube studio commentary from myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz. Thank you very much. Do join us again soon.